All right. Are we recording? Oh, cool. It's recording. So three, two, one. Cool. All right. Three, two, one. Hi guys. Welcome back to Monsters of the Mic, episode three. Hope you're all doing well. We got a doozy of an episode because since last week, a lot of stuff has happened in free agency. A lot of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Let's start off with my early prediction in episode one with the Bears signing Trey Smith and then trading for Myles Garrett. Obviously, that was shot in the foot, but it's not far off because we did technically get a Chiefs offensive lineman. So it's still
I
possibly there, even though it wasn't the offensive lineman that I was hoping for. But I
wasn't the
think
guy we were thinking. Yeah.
right, but I think Joe Thuney is honestly better. Right. I looked at his stats last year. I think he let up 0 sacks, I believe, was it last year? Don't quote me on that. I think it was zero
Zero
sacks. Yeah.
sacks.
Yeah.
He's a
And right.
two-time all pro. Oh
Right.
yeah. No, yeah.
Zero
Two-time all
sacks.
pro
Yeah. Zero
the
sacks, which
last 2 seasons.
Caleb got absolutely murdered last season right, with 68 sacks, right? 0 sacks. He had one penalty, one,
Yeah.
all of last year, and he played 1,115 snaps.
And he played left tackle for I think it was like half of the season
Correct.
or
Yeah.
the later half. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean that's he's a left tackle and a left guard.
And,
That's
and I
crazy.
mean, think about it, right? Like they gave a fourth round pick for him. Okay, yeah, he's 32 years old, fine, but in 9 seasons, he's only missed 7 games in the position he plays. And guess what? He's been to the Super Bowl 3 times with Kansas City, so he's
Hmm.
played 20 games, full
Yep.
season games. So
Yep.
people are just like, oh, he's 32 years old, this, that, and the other. He's healthy. He knows how to stay on the field. He's won a Super Bowl with the Patriots. He's won 3 Super Bowls with the Chiefs. The man has been a winner all his NFL career, essentially. You know, is able to stay healthy. He's quick off the line. Once again, he's so smart. He's healthy. One penalty. He only allowed 6 hits. Six
I
hits.
I have a big one for you.
Oh,
Um, not just not just that he's like a freaking two-time all pro. I think he's like a four-time Pro Bowler,
yeah.
four-time Super Bowl. Like he's a leader, dude. Like he's a leader on the offensive line. And
Yes.
that's exactly what they needed. As much as I like Trey Smith,
Agreed.
he was younger, he was up and
Mm-hmm.
coming. I think that they
Mm-hmm.
needed someone with experience, someone to get on the rest of the guy
Mm-hmm.
to keep
Mm-hmm.
everybody in check. Because I mean, up until now, like it's just been a bunch of youth on our team, and to be honest, I don't think he like knows what it takes to win, especially
Right.
on the offense.
Hmm. No, definitely.
Oh, you're
Um,
lagging out a little bit.
yeah, I am lagging out a little bit. But am I back? Yeah, cool, I'm back. But I agree with you
Uh,
100%, right?
yeah, you're back.
Cool. I agree with you 100% in all those aspects, right? Like the fact that, and look at all the stuff Ryan Pace has tried, right? To fill these pieces with Bates, Jason Peters at one point. Like, okay, great. These are guys, but other than Jason Peters, right, who's going to be a bona fide Hall of Famer, right? We all know this, right? We got him at the end of his career when he was 38, 39 years old, right? But
He was old. Like,
right,
yeah,
right. Like what much did you have out of him, right? So you're looking at this, and like, yeah, you said he's a winner, and I was listening to Ross Tucker speak. I forgot, he was talking about how he played in the NFL. He's like, if I'm the young offensive lineman, even Darnell Wright, right? Like I'm looking to him and what he's doing and what he's working. He's like, and if your young offensive linemen
exactly.
don't do that, they don't belong in that locker room because he is a bona fide
Yeah,
winner. Mimic what he
yeah,
does.
yeah. That's a lot of Chiefs reporters were kind of saying um that he was just the guy in the locker room that oh actually this is funny. Last year, um he voted as the team MVP
Really?
like for Mahomes. And he got one MVP vote,
Oh
like an
wow.
actual MVP vote. Yeah. Let me see if I can find that.
I did. I
I
didn't
thought
even.
that
I
was
didn't even know that. That's interesting.
yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's so interesting. And that bona fide, so I've been reading a lot and listening to other people talk like, oh, his age at 32 is going to be a 17 million hit. Like, it's 17 million for 1 year. What better are you going to find out there? What better position are you going to find out? What better player, sorry, not position, better player you're going to find out with the resume that he has for 17 million. You're not going to find anybody better than that,
Yeah,
right? And I think another reason why I think the Chiefs they are in a salary cap limbo. I think it's starting to come back to them, right? Like this massive Mahomes contract, right? Yes, you can delegate the money, you can move everything, right? But like this guy they're letting go, yes, he's 32, but
at some point it's gonna come.
right.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of people are just like, oh, why are the Chiefs think, oh, like this, that, and the other? I'm like, the guy's healthy, he's durable, he knows how to win, and he's the leader. What more do you need on the offensive line? Which is something we haven't had since Roberto Garza, Olin Kreutz. Like that's the last time we have any type of leadership on that offensive line, right? So like bringing this guy
yep,
in, letting Wright learn behind him because Wright's only been he's going to go in his third season, so it's not he's still young, right? Same thing with Braxton Jones, right?
yep.
And I really think I know this is a huge signing for us, and obviously we'll talk about Jonah Jackson in a second too. But I still don't hate them taking offensive lineman at 10.
I wouldn't hate it either.
You
I
know,
Yeah, I would rather have Braxton as like a swing tackle and then
yep,
like draft his replacement.
right.
And then you really shore up the offensive line like that. Like,
Well, look at a perfect example, right? Look at the Eagles the last 2 years, right? They took two offensive linemen in the second round, right? They took Jurgens and is it? I forgot the other guy they took.
the
And,
Mailata,
no, not Mailata. I forgot the other guy. It's I know it's Jurgens and someone else they took in the second round, and those guys barely even played their first year. They just sat
hmm
back and eventually, right? Jurgens moved from guard to center. He took over Kelsey, and look how fantastic Jurgens was for that team,
hmm
right? He was that linchpin for that offensive line, right? So it's like just because you signed right these two offensive traded for these two offensive linemen, as much as right like we'll touch on this later in our episode, right? As much as we want, like, I want Genti because I think he's a very hot pick. I think I know what Ben Johnson knows what he wants. I still wouldn't mind right at 10 taking a Will Campbell or the guy from Texas that I talked to you about Banks, right? Banks Jr., which we'll go into that in a little bit, right? Like I wouldn't mind that because these guys are 32 and 33 years old. Like we're still going to need youth at some point, right?
hmm
And
Yeah.
we
We're gonna
have
need guys
Braxton
to
Jones.
replace those guys. Yeah.
Right. So like just because we filled these two voids out here, right? And
Mm.
let's put it out there too, right? We still have $51 million in that. Do we go after Drew Baldwin? Is Drew Dalman? Drew Dalman,
Yep.
right? Do we
Drew
go after
Dolman.
him? Yeah, because he's going to be the biggest sought out, I think, offensive lineman out there now that Trey Smith was franchise tagged. So
hmm
do you add him? And if you add him, then do you completely move away from the offensive line in the draft and you trade that 10th pick?
I think the Drew Dolman question
Sure.
has more to do with Ben Johnson and if his style fits Ben Johnson's offense.
True, which is why I think going piggybacking off that, why they traded for Jonah Jackson, right? So in
Hmm
2021, under Ben Johnson was a Pro Bowler, right? In
Yep.
2023, 0 sacks and 949 snaps played. The year after that, 2 sacks in 432. Last year, he only played I think he only played like 8 or 9 games, but in those 181 snaps, 0 sacks. So
That's
like
awesome.
it makes a lot of sense what he wants. And a lot of people are like, oh, well, he was. I remember last offseason, right? The Rams threw a bunch of money at him. They're like, oh my God, like this is the guy. I think just he didn't miss well with what the Rams wanted to do with their offense in there, right? Like
Their
I feel like
style. Yeah.
right, McVay style. So I think trading him for a 6th round pick and right, like everyone's like, oh, he has 16 million. If you actually look at it, the salary cap's only going to be an $8.1 million hit,
Oh yeah, for
right?
the first year. Yeah.
Correct.
It's only 8 mil this year. Yeah.
And there's a possibility with that trade. Obviously, we'll know more details when the league calendar starts. That the Rams are going to pay that 8 million.
Oh, that's even better.
So
Yeah.
like it may not even be a salary cap hit until the next year. So I'm sitting here looking at these two trades, right, back to back trades. I'm like, okay, this is what happens, which is what I told you, kind of on the side, right? I think even in the first episode is direction. His team
Mm,
finally seems like it has a freaking direction, and they're finally kind of this is what we're gonna go. This is what our plan is. If it doesn't work, you know what? Fine. It doesn't freaking work. But I felt like previous off seasons and previous seasons, it was just let's just throw things together. Now it's like, well, we got two offensive linemen that, in my opinion, fit the Ben Johnson scheme.
Hmm.
So to me, is this right? You can right grill me on this, right? But I think you might be in the same ballpark with me. Do you think right this is a collaboration between Ben Johnson and Ryan Poles? Or do you feel like Ben Johnson's like, hey, Poles, this is what I want, go fucking make it happen?
I think the Jonah Jackson one was him saying
Okay.
like, "Hey,
Okay.
I want him." But
Sure. Sure.
The Joe Tooney one, I think that had to do with Ryan too because he's got connections in Kansas City.
That is true.
Um, and I think he was there when they got him, right? It was
I
because it
believe so.
was that the Brady after the Brady year when Brady won
Yes.
in
Yes. It
Tampa.
was something like that. Something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would say Joe Tooney, it's probably both of them, but Jonah Jackson, that was definitely Ben Johnson.
Right. And
Uh,
that's and sticking with that topic, I wanted to ask you. This was a question that I wrote down that I wanted to ask you was,
mm,
do you think moving forward in the off season, right? Do you think it's going to be a collaboration with Poles and Ben Johnson? Because I know Ben Johnson wanted a GM with him, right? They wanted the same years to match. He didn't want that offset bullshit that has happened here before, right? So
yeah.
I don't know if it's already happened, but I believe, right? I think Poles is going to get a 3 year extension to match Ben Johnson's. I think
He might have
contract.
already got it.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, I think you already got it. I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
you already got it. So my question moving forward, right? Because the league season starts the 12th of next week, right? Like it officially
Mm,
opens where you can sign people and all this stuff, right?
mm.
Do you feel like it's going to be a collaboration, or do you feel like it's going to be like, well, hey, I'm the head coach, I'm thinking this stuff, you're the GM, go make it happen?
I think I think free agency is gonna be all Ben Johnson.
Okay,
Like he's gonna tell him, "Hey, this is what I need. Like do whatever it takes to go get it." Because it's when you're in free agency, you're addressing your needs at like right away, right? Like you're
mm-hmm.
I don't I'm thinking about it as like Ben Johnson is in like a win now mode. So whatever he can get his hands on right now is what he's gonna do. And
Sure.
then I'm I'm assuming um the draft would be more of a collaboration just so Ryan can kind of like so he can go and look for the type of dudes that Ben is looking for so he could develop. That
That's
makes
fair.
sense. And
That's fair.
he would throw his own picks obviously, right? But
Right.
that's kind of my thought. I think we are going to see them spend like more money than we have the last 2 years or
Mm-hmm.
3 years. I don't know how long it's been,
Let
but
me ask you this too now. Another question on top of that, right? Since we're in the off season,
mm.
what about the prospect of Chase Young? Let me tell you, let me tell
I
you. Under
I don't
Dennis,
know.
Under Dennis Allen in New Orleans, 66
Uh,
tackles for loss, which was seventh in the league, 47 hurries, he 7 sacks and 12 QB hits last year under Dennis Allen.
he had 7 sacks and
Yeah,
12 QB hits. It's not bad.
right.
He'd be yeah. I think if you could get him on a cheap 2 year deal, I would I would do it. How old is he? Like 28,
He's like
26?
20, 26. Yeah, he's still very young. And you know what the funny thing is? If they go a cheap deal, you
Mm.
bring back Khalil Mack.
I think you could go a cheap deal because he's been I mean, he kind of just fell off ever since he got traded. Um,
Sure.
when he got traded to the Niners, and then after that, oh, it was that one play where he took a play off. Like I think that hurt his stock a
Mm-hmm.
little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
and then with the Saints being, I would say they were average, but their defense was really good. So
Yeah, they got Cameron Jordan out there, right? They have a good defense, right? So does that. But the thing is, right, with Chase Young, you still have Montez Sweat, so you have the other guy on the other side, right?
yeah, yeah.
But I think if we're going off this topic of you saying right, 1 or 2 year cheap deal, I rather get Khalil Mack and bring him back here.
I would take Khalil Mack too, but I think Ryan kind of proved the type of dudes that he looks for, right?
Fair.
He likes those cheap young guys because
Mm-hmm.
he wants to strike gold with those rather than like overpaid and like a 30-year
Sure.
old like a veteran or whatever. But um I would say go get Khalil Mack too because I mean he wasn't bad last year. from what
No,
I've seen, right? Like, let's see, what are his stats?
I don't think he was necessarily horrible.
I mean, I think it would work for both sides. Like
I think it
both of those
would.
guys. Eight
Yeah,
sacks, 33 tackles for loss, and he's a big time like run stopper, and he fits the
right.
scheme with Dennis Allen.
That's what I'm
So,
saying. So like I know I've been talking about Miles Garrett, Miles Garrett.
mm,
Honestly, if we want to save that money and save our pick and do something else, I would be okay with, a Khalil Mack or Chase Young type of signing, right?
mm,
Because I think here's the other thing with the free agency we're talking about it. Max Crosby's crazy effing deal that happened today. Miles Garrett's gonna sit here and be like, "Hey, dude over there got money. I want more than that."
he's loving it,
Right.
man. He's
Right.
gonna get
So
paid.
are
Yeah.
right. So like, do we trade that 10th pick right to the Browns for a rental for 1 year? I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't feel
I,
comfortable with that, especially with the 3 year 106.5 million dollar contract Crosby signed. Right. So like, that's going to be a crazy amount of money. And I get it. We have 51 million, give or take, but it's just like,
and we have Caleb on his rookie deal and two tackles on their rookie deals as well. So it's not
right.
completely out of the question, but I just think it's too much risk.
I think it is.
I
I think it is right. It's especially for this like sign someone younger, right? Because we already have Montez Sweat, right? We don't need
mhm.
a yes, granted, Miles Garrett and Montez Sweat would be absolutely fantastic. That'll just be amazing. But
They're feeding families. Yeah.
right, right, we already have Sweat. So outside of Nichols Andrew Billings getting hurt last year, which I think really hurt our run game, and I think he'll be fine as long as he stays healthy. We need someone to pair on the other side. We do,
Mm.
like, we really do. And Devon Dexter isn't working out, right? Like, these guys aren't working out. So it's like, let's go look into free agency, right? Chase Young is young. He's only 26. Like, and I know he had his issues at first. I know he had his problems at first with Washington and the 49ers. But look, he turned around with Dennis Allen, right? So it seems like whatever Dennis Allen's preaching or spewing, Chase Young is receptive to that. And he had a great season last year.
I think he's gonna have a voice in that too, like a strong voice.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I could very well see it happening. But that would be really good. Like that's a really good pairing. Chase Young,
Right.
Montez Sweat, and then you could still draft uh heavy and like you could still go heavy with D ends in the draft because it's loaded
Correct.
with D ends. It's loaded with I mean talent all over the defensive line. So I mean I don't hate it. You because you could get him cheap. So
And that's what I'm saying, right? Because especially with Mac, Mac. I think is at the point of his career where it's gonna be 1 or 2 year deals, right? Like he's
oh
that
yeah.
old. He's that old up for it to be 1 or 2 years deals.
Yeah.
With Chase Young, he's 26, whatever. You can give him a 3 year deal, and it's not gonna bite you in the butt because
Hmm.
he
He's
hasn't
under
lived up to his
cost
potential.
control.
Right. He
Yeah.
hasn't lived up to his potential that he was supposed to be drafted at, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like with cost control, and he that's why I'm saying, like, if Max a 1 year contract, if of Khalil Max a 1 year contract, and you can't get him because someone else is it, I'm okay with Chase Young being a 1 year contract because I think for both of those guys, Mac for different reasons and Chase Young for proving himself, is going to be a salary friendly kind of contract. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So
Yeah.
if we can somehow get them to do something like that, that'll be fantastic for the defense because you shore up your defensive line. And then, right, you are correct. This draft is deep on defensive tackles and defensive ends that you
Yeah.
can get in the second or third round. That could help overall replace that. But I still think you need that building block. It ranks.
If you're in win now mode, and then oh, all right, let's start with that. If you're in win now mode, who are you taking? Like of the two?
You gotta take Khalil Mack.
Okay. And if you're going based off of like leadership, because as of right now, there's no leaders in that locker room. Who are you taking?
I gotta take Khalil Mack.
Damn. And
Take Khalil
I
Mack.
think, yeah, then I think that's kind of where they should be leaning, but it's just hard to see it
And
happening.
here's another thing, right? Too, I think on top of that, right? If we're in win now mode, right? Because yes, if the Bears put pieces together, if Caleb's the guy that he's supposed to be, he can technically replicate a Jaden Daniels season, right? Because that's
Hmm?
what we drafted him to do. So if we
Yep.
get the pieces in there, right, we get all these guys there. Khalil Mack's been in Chicago. He knows what it is, right? He knows what it takes to win here, right? He was part of that 2018 playoff team that went to went to the playoffs right at 12-4, had the best defense in the league. Like he knows what it takes, right, to come here. So like if you're talking about that leadership and the lack of it, I agree, right? And I think he's already played here before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he here when Jalen Johnson was here, or am I wrong on that?
Yeah, he was here the first Jalen's rookie year.
Right. So like Jalen has played with him, right? Like all these things. So I think that's great. But if we're in not win now mode, and we're more just like let's get to the playoffs, let's see what we can do, then I think you go for Chase Young.
Yep.
But if you're in win now mode, right, you're like we're gonna right. It was Ryan Poles told us how many years ago, right? Take the North and never give it damn back, sir. I haven't seen that
We have
yet.
yet to take it over, man. Jeez.
We have yet to take it over. Right, we have the same division as the record as the Packers with 1-5 last year. Like, sir,
I
sir. Yes,
know.
granted the one win was against the Packers, but sir,
You got a
last
lot
year,
of ground to cover, man.
right,
Yeah, what the
right.
fuck?
So I think that is a good. I think your perspective, which I didn't even look through it, was yeah. Like, are we in mid now mode, or are we trying to make the playoffs? And I think we discussed this yesterday. I think we get 10 wins. I know we always say that every season, but like I think if you look at the schedule, there's winnable games, and if you look at what we're doing, right, and you continue to build around Caleb, right, because who knows, right? Do they get frisky and throw a third round there for Metcalf, right? Because I saw right, it was a third round.
No, they didn't.
Do they get frisky and say,
They,
let's do it, right? And then you pair DJ Moore, Rome, and Metcalf, right? Like,
no way
I
they
don't
do
think they're
that.
going to do that. I know it's
Yeah.
wishful thinking, but like, I think with Ben Johnson, and especially right, someone we touched on the first episode, right? Kevin Warren, like, as much as he was quiet during the regular season, I really think he did a lot of grunt work to put us in a position, put the Bears in a position to be like, hey, open up your checkbooks. Open up your checkbooks. We have
Hmm.
talent. We just need a few pieces.
Yep. Yeah. I think he played a heavy role in that. He was definitely in McCaskey's ear, letting him know like, hey, like we're close. You just gotta let loose with the checkbook a little bit. And
Because we talked about this too, right? Yeah, they went 5-12, but 4 of those games were winnable by mismanaged by the coach, right? So instead of a 5-12, we're 9-8, and we're looking
yep.
at things a complete different avenue, right? Like, yes, we still don't
Yeah.
make the playoffs, but it's like, oh well, look, we're right there. We're right
Mm.
there to make the playoffs, right? So I think it's there, right? And another thing we're not talking about that I kind of thought about this as I was kind of thinking about off season. Brisker's ass needs to stay healthy. He needs
I've been saying it for years.
He
Yes.
needs to stay healthy. Like I love the way he plays. I love who he reminds me of, and I know it's gonna sound horrible because he's not the player that this person I'm about to compare him to. So don't look at it as a comparison, but just kind of as staying healthy. He reminds me of Jamal Adams.
Oh my
He's
God.
getting hurt all the time. He's
He
getting
kind
hurt
of
all the time. Jamal Adams is a better player, yes, but dude, they're hurt all the time.
yeah. Yeah.
It's
That's
like
exact that was exactly what I said last year. Like, well, I said it 2 years ago actually. Um I think Brisker's really good, but
yes.
the issue is he can't stay on the field. And it's kind of been, and I get it, last year was the concussion, and that kind of seems like it's out of your control, but I don't know, his tweets kind of say otherwise, right? Because he was pretty excited when Matt Eberflus got fired. And did he ever come back?
No, Brisker didn't play the rest of the season after the concussion.
Jeez, man. What was
That's
that,
that's
like
what
the
I'm
fourth,
saying.
fifth game? Like
Unless, right, they told him, hey, the season's not going anywhere. Take the season off, get healthy for
they
next
were
year.
they were still like
Oh,
kind
but
of
they were
hanging
four
in
and
there.
two. They were 4 and 2.
Yeah,
You're right. You're right.
yeah. Because
I
he might they hit the bye week and then it was the Washington game. And I think he could have played that one, but he didn't.
he stood out. And I think after that Washington game, he's like, fuck it.
Yeah,
And I think really, I don't think he really liked Eberflus too.
I don't think so either.
Right. I don't think so. And I
Yeah.
think Dennis Allen defensive kind of scheme. I think Brisker will shine. He just needs to stay healthy. Like, please stop tackling with your head. Make safe tackles. Look, Kyler Gordon, right? Kyler Gordon, I was worried about him because he was, not healthy here and there. Worked on some stuff, got better tackler, and he's played a pretty healthy last couple seasons. And also, more importantly, Kyle Gordon has been fantastic the last season. He is a amazing slot corner, right? So,
Mhm.
but if Brisker doesn't stay healthy, do you possibly take? a safety in the draft.
I think they do. I think they I think they do take another safety.
Really.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I I mean they had pretty good backups for Brisker, right? What was his name? Simone Biles is
Oh, Jonathan
uh,
Owens.
Jonathan Owens. Jonathan Owens was pretty solid.
Fine. He had a couple turnovers, couple return for touchdowns. Like he fills it.
Yeah.
He did what his position and what he is on the team, what he's supposed to do. Come in and
Yeah.
fill at a high level. What's the other guy? Kevin, is it Kevin Byron?
Kevin Byard. Yeah.
Yeah.
He
He
was
was
really good
great. He
too.
was fine. he had
Yeah.
was fantastic. But it's just like imagine if you replace Jonathan Owens with Brisker back there and you have him and Byard back there. Like, dude, it's a heaven. So it's like
Yeah.
this offseason is I know we say it every year, like it's a big offseason. It's a big and it has been, right? These last three offseasons have really changed the trajectory of this organization, right? Like we
Yeah.
have a franchise quarterback. Yes, we talked about this episode one. A lot of his stuff was garbage time, but he has the flashes. You give him a coach that believes in him, an assistant that believes in him, that allows him to play in his strengths. I think Ben Johnson will, because Ben Johnson, right, with Jared Goff was, what are your damn strengths? Let's play to those strengths.
Yep.
It's gonna
Oh
be
yeah.
the same thing with Caleb, right? So it's like, what are Caleb's strengths? Let's take that. Let's magnify it, actually put it on the field, and your weaknesses, we'll work on those. But we
Hmm.
won't put those in game day in game day, packages because we know that they're not. It's not going to be. This is not going to be progressive for the team. So why
Yep.
put this in there? A perfect example that I go back to, right, is I know this was a couple years ago, right? Is Mitch Trubisky. You remember that Cowboys game? They moved him out of the
Oh
pocket and he torched the Cowboys.
yeah.
Torched them, right, on primetime TV in Dallas.
Yeah.
Like, but then,
Dropped
but the
like
game,
30, 40 points, right?
right? What
Something.
did they do the
Yeah.
game after that? Let's put him back in the pocket. I'm like, why? He is not a pocket quarterback. He likes to move around, right? Like, same thing with Justin, right? So I think with Ben's going to be like, all right, Caleb, you like to move around. Let's move the pocket.
Mm.
Which,
Well,
go ahead.
no, yeah. That's kind of what I think too, and I think that was kind of the reason for signing those two guards,
Mm,
w- or trading those two guards. I'm
yeah,
sorry. Um, because Joe Tooney played with Mahomes. He's just an artist, right? In the
right.
pocket. Like he can probably teach Caleb a couple of things, right? Like, oh, this is
Mhm.
where I'm gonna be. If you want to roll out this way, like I can set here,
Correct.
give you a good block. That way, like it's just little things like that, and I think they are gonna lean more on like Caleb's creativity
Yeah.
instead of forcing him to stay in the pocket, because that's exactly what they did last year, and I don't care who says it, right? Caleb was forcing himself to stay in the pocket. It wasn't that, like, he just wasn't creating the way that I guess we were used to seeing him do, like create in
Right.
college.
Right. And I
Yeah,
think that goes down to coaching where Eberflus and right freaking, Shane Waldron are like, don't turn over the ball, stay in the pocket. If you can't, just launch it. You have
yeah,
John, right? So it's like, but you have a playmaker. That's what he is. He is a playmaker. He's allowed to move around. Granted, yes. Do we want to protect him so he can stay in that pocket, see the entire field, see all his options? And yes, but you're going to play defenses that aren't going to do that, right? And a lot of right
right.
rumors are the Bears might possibly open up the season against the Philadelphia Eagles. Guess what? There's going to be a lot of pocket movement in that game
Yep.
if
Oh
that actually
yeah.
happens.
And you have to, because they're gonna come after him, and
Right.
that D line is no joke.
And it's a
So
big Fangio defensive, right? So like
yeah,
I think you're right. I think the big thing that I missed here, right, is Ben Johnson's, what Ben Johnson is viewing. And I think, you look at it in that perspective, but sometimes I forget about like, oh, like, yeah, what does Ben want? What does Ben at the end of the day, right? Ben is running this offense. Like, yes, we have Declan Doyle here, but let's be honest, Ben Johnson's calling plays.
oh yeah,
Let's
yeah,
be honest, right? Like Ben Johnson's gonna call plays, and that's why I love the Dennis Allen trade because, like, I mean, the signing because it's like, well, these all other guys we have around here have head coaching experience that can help Ben with those, so Ben can actually work on worried about calling those plays.
hmm
So I think you're right. I think you hit it on the head a couple times, right? That I kind of think I've been kind of this I guess not really paying attention to is like what is Ben's view, and we don't know what Ben's projection is, right? We don't know what is here. We can still sign Keenan Allen possibly, right? Does he want it? I
yeah,
don't think he wants because I don't think Keenan Allen is as fast as he's going to want this offense to be, right? You know what I mean? Which goes into right like. Do they sign another offensive lineman out there? Because there are a couple other players, but are those players going to mesh well with what Ben Johnson wants. And I, for some reason, get excited. I'm like, oh my God, look at this. I always forget, like, wait a minute, we have a new coach that's going to have a
Yeah. He
new scheme and everything.
yeah. It's his scheme. It's how he envisions the offense. So, I mean, I would say like Drew Dahlman, he's a really good center. He's the best center on the market right now. I think you could convince me that they would sign him, right? Just as like a temporary solution,
Right.
right? Give him a 4-year deal, 3-year deal, and then, you know, draft draft somebody behind him to learn. Somebody that plays, we need somebody that plays full-time center too. I'm tired of these left guards, right guards playing, switching over to center like
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. And I agree with you so much. That's why, like, I'm happy they signed these guys because these guys that they signed they play the positions they play. Right.
Mm,
And I think with, another thing that happened with Jonah Jackson, and I think in LA, which I think it is, they tried to make him play center. He's not a center.
is that a center?
He's
Yeah.
not a center. And people are just like, oh, he had a down year. I'm just like, he played a position that he doesn't play. The guy's a guard. Like,
Hmm.
let the man play guard. You know what I mean? So I think, it's gonna be interesting because I
They
mean,
both play left guard.
right, but I think Joe can honestly go to right guard. I think he can play
You
both.
think Joe would do it, or would it be Jonah?
I think honestly, at the end of the day, I think Jonah will go to right guard because let's be honest, right? I'd rather have the two-time All Pro, four-time Pro Bowler, right? Four-time Super Bowl champ as my left guard.
Yeah.
Simple. And right, if you sign right a center like you're talking about, this is the biggest thing that I think that's so important to this, right? Is right if they sign a center and that offensive line is cohesive, that takes so much pressure off Caleb with the line calls because the
Mm.
center and right,
Calling protections.
yes, the center
Yeah.
and Joe can talk about protections, and Caleb, all he has to do is watch the blitz and all that stuff. So he doesn't have to worry about that. The offensive line adjustments, right? That can be handled by
Mm.
your offensive line, which takes pressure off Caleb, which allows him to be more practical with his actual gameplay.
Hmm. Yep. Well, it lets him think less for sure. Because was he doing it last year? Or was it yeah, he was.
I think he
Actually
was,
not
but at
it.
the same time, right? Like, okay, he was doing it, but obviously, right, the personnel wasn't the best. We still got sacked 68 times. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So like, yeah, like even if he made some adjustments, right? Like that one clip of right the center yelling at him, right? Like, hey,
And fire,
fire,
fire.
fire, right? He's like, I know, right? Like those things won't have to be there if you get like guy like a Dahlman or a Drew Dahlman, right?
Yeah.
Match him up with a Jonah Jackson and a Joe Thuney, right? Like you have a solid base right there, right? Darnell Wright, he is fine as a tackle. That man he can handle his own, right? He's proven it, right?
Yeah.
Braxton Jones, I think you're right. Like he's a swing tackle, which right I would be okay with drafting what I told you, right? I think was it last week when we were talking about picks, or was it the week before, right? Who I wanted the Bears to sign as a rookie, right? Is Will Campbell from LSU. Like you take that guy, right, and you replace him Braxton Jones there, like it's great. But once again, wishful thinking. Will he be there? I don't think he'll be there, right?
You got a couple of tackles. You got Josh Simmons, Will Campbell, uh who else is on here? Armand Membo.
Yeah,
Except he's projected to go in the 14, like 10
right.
through 20 around there.
If there's a guy that I think Jared Wilson, there's another guy over there. Like there's
Yeah.
some
Kelvin
good.
Banks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and let's not forget, right? The Bears have 4 picks in the top 71 picks.
Oh, we have, yeah, like
71, four.
the only downfall is like there's not really a difference between like, pick 10, or we'll say like pick 11 through like
Sure.
the third round.
Sure,
So,
sure. Because I know they
I
have a
mean,
first, they got 2 seconds, and they got a third, right? So my thing is like going back to that Miles Garrett stuff, right? Wishful thinking. Do you trade a first and a second this year for Miles Garrett?
not horrible.
Right, right. Because like
It's
especially right. Let's say they sign Drew Dahlman, right? Let's say they sign Drew Dahlman. You can take offensive linemen later in the draft. So that 10th rounder, hey, you can either trade it back and get more picks, or you can trade it for a player, right? So like it's super exciting, and I did not expect any of these moves to happen in like
back
like
to back
2 days.
days.
Right.
Yeah, it was back to back days. Yeah.
It's insane, right? And then
Uh,
look at everything else across the league, right? Like the franchise tags. I started off with Trey Smith, right? Then Higgins, which bodes well for my Joe Burrow and the Bengals winning the Super Bowl, right? Because they are going
yeah,
to. I'm going to die on that hill, right? The one
T.
thing,
Higgins gets tagged. Yeah.
yeah, the one thing that I know you get mad at me saying this, right? Is they? I think officially Sam Darnold is a free agent. Officially, I don't think they're going to send him in.
Oh my
Right
God.
now, they goes back to two quarterbacks. So does Aaron Rodgers sneak his way back up there and follow Brett
Oh my,
Favre's legacy?
he's not gonna do it. He's not
Dude,
gonna do it.
I know we say he's not, but if if JJ isn't ready to play next year, right? Do you really do you really trust Daniel Jones? And I get it, right? Like I don't think Rodgers will mesh well with said like culture O'Donnell's built, but like
Hmm.
it's a possibility, man. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I feel it like deep down in my gut. Rodgers sides with the Vikings for a year. I don't know why.
Well, I could tell you if they get Rodgers, he's gonna try to meddle, and he's gonna ask for Devontae. And
Oh,
as far as fantasy goes, JJ is gonna take a little dip because of that. Not because he's not good, it's just that Rodgers, he's
likes
got this he's got this thing where he just
right.
targets the shit out of his favorite receiver.
Right, right. And if we're looking at the NFC North, right, the only teams that have done anything, right, is the Bears and the Packers. Lions and Vikings haven't done anything. The Packers signed Isaiah McDuffie to it's a free agent deal, and they re-signed
Mm.
Brandon McManus. That's all that's happened in the NFC North.
They got
Right,
a kicker.
right. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying right the Bears are part. Okay, do the Vikings have the same season they have last year? I don't know, maybe right. Do the Lions do with with the players they lost, losing Ben Johnson? Maybe, right? I still think Dan Campbell's a great coach. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, much as it hurts to say, right, I think Green Bay's in the best position when healthy to win this division, right? Because of the pieces moving. But if I'm just looking at actual pieces of what's happening and additions to the team, right now the Bears have won the NFC North offseason.
Yeah. We always win the off season, man.
We always win the offseason, right? And that's
We-
what I'm sick of, right? Just saying that I'm just sick of, right? Like we won the offseason, but can it freaking translate finally on the field?
I'll tell you what, I will say the last 3 seasons, they've made smart moves. Like I can't knock the moves that Ryan makes. It
Sure.
just hasn't translated.
I
And
agree.
hopefully this season it changes, and hopefully these moves like start to pay dividends. Um, because I think, man, I get where he's trying to go with this, and at least now, like it's clear what the team needs are: D line, O line. Just attack
Mhm,
it
mhm,
with
mhm.
everything you got, and
Right.
hope. Just yeah, just put your best foot out there, and hopefully, hopefully it'll work. So
I agree with you, right? Because I know we touched a little bit this on on episode one, right? But I'm glad they didn't fire Ryan Poles and hire a new GM.
yeah, me too.
He okay, he made his mistakes. He really he I still don't think right Eberflus was his original hire. But he's like, what, the way this team's going, the way they responded to a bad season and the way they were playing, he's like, let me take the chance. Right? And he took the chance and it bit him in the ass. Like it exploded, right? The only thing that changed about Eberflus was his fucking beard. And that's it. The man cannot coach it off a team for crap, right?
Yeah,
So I
we
think
s-
like I
yeah
think when they fired right Eberflus the first time ever in the middle of a season, I think that really hit Poles hard. I think it really shook him to be like crap. Like I got to get my crap together, right? Like
mm,
and I think moving forward too, I think he's gonna stop being cute with his picks, right? With the Bayless Jones stuff and all that stuff, like trying to keep him around. I think he's gonna stop being cute with that, right? Because he's
mm,
gonna, I think with Ben Johnson there, right? And here's the biggest thing that I think is gonna help with the draft. Look what they drafted in Detroit with Ben Johnson there with Dan Campbell. Look at that,
mm,
right? Jameer Gibbs, Penei Sewell, right? You have Williamson, right? Like Amon-Ra St. Brown. They
Monroe,
drafted all of those players.
Sam Laporta,
Right.
uh, who else?
And Ben
They,
Johnson, right, was the spearhead of that offense.
yeah,
So therefore, right, a lot of his input was in there.
yeah.
I hope to God, right, and this isn't, thank God, this is not a Jerry Jones situation here, where he's going to put his input and draft the players that he wants, right? But does Ben Johnson, right, and that's why. I think what you said right about S and Genti being at 10, like, will I
It's
be okay?
got it's got his name written all over it. It's got Ben
Right,
Johnson. Yeah. Like it's
right.
that's the type of pick he'll make.
And like, do I hate it? No, because if they, which they've already done with the offensive line, they continue to address it on the offseason, fuck it. Take Genti at 10. I don't care. Right? Because he's gonna need an offensive line to buy. So if you do somehow right, sign Drew Dahlman, keep these guys there, take some guys in the second round, go wild with Ashton Genti at 10. Go effing wild with him
You
at
wouldn't
10.
be mad about it? You'd
No.
be
I
like, yeah.
I would be frustrated because I'm always someone I don't like taking running backs in the top 10. Granted, certain running backs deserve to be there. Yes, his statistical thing in Boise State deserves to be there, right? Like a lot of some running backs deserve to be in the top 10, but I think this draft alone as well is also deep at running back.
Mm.
So like, will I be okay with Genti at 10? Yes. But will I also be a little bit frustrated if like an offensive lineman was there or defensive lineman there that can help us and we don't take them? I might be a little bit upset too.
If
So
Will Campbell is there, we
I,
signed, let's say we signed Dahlman, right? Will Campbell's there and Ashton Genty's there. Who do you want him to take?
can I be honest with you? I want a D tackle instead.
Damn.
I want the guy. I think he's from. I don't know if he's from Texas. I'm gonna butcher his freaking name right. It's what's his name? I can't. I'm trying to find it. Oh, it's James Pierce Jr. I think his name. I butchered his last name. Um, that guy is a
I'm
unit.
trying to find him.
Yeah, I don't know exactly where he would be. He's not projected in any top 10,
Okay.
but that guy had a fantastic combine, and I think he'll be great on that D line, right?
Mm.
But yeah, right, James Pierce Jr. He's a defensive end and outside linebacker,
Ooh.
right? But because there's a guy that I want ahead of him, but I think the Saints are going to take him because you know how the Saints are. They always take their defensive ends in the first round, right?
Yeah, yep.
His name I think is Sharp Shimar Stewart. He's a defensive end from Texas A&M. I want that guy
Shamart Stewart.
after
Oh,
his
I,
combine.
yeah.
Outstanding, right? But I think the Saints will take him before the Bears do if in that position because I think he had a better combine than James. So
Mm.
I think he will be drafted. So if that's the case, if James Jr. is there, I would love the Bears to take him. But I also like Will Campbell. I like Ashton Genty. 10 is so nice here because I think we know Cam Ward, Shadori Sanders, Travis Hunter, and Abdul Carter. Those four guys are all going to go top four. In what specific order, I don't know, which we'll get into in a second, right? But
Yeah. I
if
think
the
Cam
Bears,
Ward goes first, but that's yeah.
we'll talk about that in a second. We'll debate on that, right? I think we'll debate on that. But I think, just looking at some other offseason moves that I think might, I don't necessarily say impact the Bears per se, but like I think just the league in general, right? Is the Debo, right? Debo going to the Commanders, which for a fifth round, mm, I I think the
You
Commanders released them, in my opinion.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
I I was I was looking at it. Well, I was thinking about it and I was like it kind of works out. I would say for both parties because Debo his last season was kind of I would say rebellious,
sure.
right? He put on a little bit of weight during that off season and it could have been the Super Bowl loss, right? Because
Mm.
working your tail off. The 2 seasons before that, Debo, I think the one before they went to the Super Bowl, literally carried them into
Yes,
the
that is true.
playoffs
That's true. That's true.
and all the way to the NFC Championship game.
True.
And then the that year when they made it to the Super Bowl, he was I mean, he was amazing, right? Like he was great that year. He just, he struggles with his route running is what I would say. He's kind of like a power back, I I don't want to say gadget guy, but he's like a gadget guy, but just a little bit better.
Right.
Um, I just think it makes sense, right? Like Debo needed a fresh start. The Niners needed offload their cap, and
Sure.
they might keep going, right? You might be on the trade block, so
Yeah, yeah.
it's
So
looking good for my Rams pick. So
yeah, and it's true. Which we talked, you talked about last week, right? Then the defending Super Bowl champs, right? They signed Saquon to an extension. They signed Zach Bond to
mm,
3 year, right? Like, so like I think at the end of the day, right? And then the Cowboys signing that defensive lineman, right, to an 4 year, $80 million contract, right?
look, Chigizua, I think
Yeah,
this is
right. So like
yeah.
there's been some big pieces falling already in the offseason, right? Which is interesting because you and I discussed this off recording, right? Like what is going to happen? What is going to happen right in the next week? Because we did have like 1 week prior to the league calendar year starting, right? Like what's going to happen? Like what's going to end within like 2 3 days? Dominoes, and then the Bills, right? Signing Shakir to a 4 year, which I
Extension.
think a lot of people are like scratching their heads. I'm like, well, he's the only receiver that has been dependable for Josh Allen over the last 2 to 3 seasons. So why the hell would you not resign him?
I like Shakir. I just think he's more of like a
Okay, but
three
who's
or a
number
two.
one in that team? Amari Cooper's bum ass? No. Like,
It's not
no.
anymore. He's a free agent. I would
Well, there
say.
you go. Okay, Keon Coleman, but Keon Coleman has to stay healthy. He had flashes as a rookie. He was on like all my fantasy teams essentially, right? So he had flashes of it, but he couldn't stay healthy. He missed like 6 weeks. You know what I mean? And if you pair Keon Coleman with another number
Yeah, I
one,
think. Yeah.
right? If you pair Keon Coleman with another number one, because look what happened when Amari
Oh,
first
I
went
think he'd be
here,
good. Yeah.
right? Keon started blowing up, right? So if you can,
Yeah.
as the Bills, sign someone else, right, that can pair well with Keon, that'll be great. But I think
Mm.
for this offseason so far, it's been a lot more exciting than I originally thought it was going to be, honestly, last week.
It started way more robust than I anticipated. Just
Yeah.
the two guards that we got. I mean, DK wants to trade. Sam Darnold, what's gonna happen with him? T.
Right.
Higgins staying. Debo getting traded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the rumors for us, right, as Bears fans, right, is the Packers wanting to trade for DK.
Oh, that would be
I might go
that's
I might
rough.
go back into hiding again because it's fantastic. Like as we're
Yeah.
getting better, oh here comes Green Bay. Like okay, we're
Yeah.
getting even better too, and it's like great, here we go.
For a third, I think I really think they are talking to them.
I think
It's
so. I agree too because they've been trying to hit on receivers for how long and they can't.
yeah. Yeah. DK is the perfect fit.
You got
So,
because you have your speed guys, right, and everybody else with all the guys that you have on Green Bay, you have all your speed receivers. And we talked about this, right? As much as I liked Christian Watson out of college, he can't buy staying healthy on the field. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
speaking of that,
Dontavian Wicks still has a little bit of ways to go. Uh
right?
no, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
What I was going to say, right,
You're
is
good.
is is if if DK goes to Green Bay, are they the number one team in the NFC North now
Yeah.
over Detroit?
I would s- I Detroit has more talent. I think Detroit's the loaded team, like loaded with talent. I think the what's really in question is like the coordinators and like how much is that gonna affect them?
Sure.
If it doesn't, if the talent supersedes the coordinators, then they're the best team in the North right now. But I would trust LaFleur to get that team right
Hmm.
over, I guess, a defensive coach in Dan Campbell after losing two of his best coordinators.
I,
So
I I agree with you on that 100%, right? Because this league is offensive league, although defenses are catching up, right? Defenses, I think there was this
yeah.
boom with the offensive play, but I think defenses now, which is this is the trend every year, right? Like some offensive trend comes
Hmm.
in that happens for 6 7 years is dominate, and then the regression happens again, right? It comes back, and then defenses take over, and then it goes back to offense, right? Like this is the fluctuation of the league, right? In the last couple of decades. So I think you're right. I think if we're looking at LaFleur and Dan Campbell, yes, Dan Campbell is a man that you would go to war with. I would run through a wall for that man any single time, right? If he was my coach. But if we're looking at the landscape of the league and how to do so right, and let's not forget about the Packers' defensive coordinator is great too. right?
Hmm.
He's not a bad defensive coordinator, right? So if we're looking at the landscape of thing, right? O'Donnell can't win a damn playoff game for his life. So like I automatically take off the Vikings, right? Because their defense, don't get me wrong, is going to be continue to be fantastic. They have a great defense, but the big question for them is who's their quarterback, and if it's JJ, can JJ live up to his hype? Because Aaron Jones is going to be gone. He's I think as a free agent, right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do with running back over there too? So I think you're right. I think if we're looking at all this stuff, I think yes, unfortunately, as much as I freaking hate to say it, Green Bay's on top, right? And then I think
Mm,
you go Detroit number two, and then Bears and Minnesota, flip flop. But once again, this is just now, right? The league calendar year literally opens up next week, literally a week from today. You know what I mean?
mm, mm,
What else, right? Because here's something interesting too, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised if Monday the 10th, right, rolls around and we start hearing teams agreeing to, oh, this player for 4 years, $80 million, 5 years still this, because even though you're not supposed to be, let's be honest, all teams are talking to all the free agents right now.
oh yeah, they've already, yeah,
Right when the week of the 9th comes around, which is in
yeah,
a couple days, right?
yeah.
They're going to announce these stuff, and then when the league calendar year starts on the 12th, all those players are signed, right? So, next week we may have a completely different thing to talk about, right? Because who knows who's going to go, what dominoes are going to fall, are there trades going to happen on top of this, right? So like, it's very very exciting. And like
Yeah.
I said, right, like, I did not expect things to move as fast as they did with players trading, people getting tagged, people getting released. The Jags released Christian
Yeah.
Kirk, right? Granted, yet he's been hurt the last 2 years, but does someone like, right, for example, at Kansas City pick up him? He's a fantastic slot guy. I don't care what anybody says. Christian Kirk is a fantastic slot guy, right? So does someone pick him
Mm.
up? You know what I mean? Like it's exciting at the end of the day.
Yeah, I do kind of wonder where Chris Kirk would fit. I'm maybe in Dallas with CD, but
I don't hate that.
I I'm not sure. Yeah, because I I could see it working out for them because they've kind of been searching for a two for a good while, and
Right.
he's a really good two.
He is. He is.
So
And I think
uh
before
yeah,
Brian Thomas, when
well
Brian Thomas
yeah,
Jr. went up to like blew up the season, right? I think he was Trevor's favorite target, right? But now with Brian Thomas Jr. blowing up the way it is,
yeah,
do you really need him, especially with his age and especially with his injury the last couple of seasons? You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting.
yeah,
Which, speaking of
yeah.
interesting,
I mean,
good.
yeah, free agency.
Yeah,
Yeah.
free agency,
No,
right?
no, no.
Speaking of
Just
that,
that free
yeah,
agency. It's gonna be a wild ride. Yeah.
it's going to be a while, right? I mean, I'm so excited for it, right? And
All right.
speaking of that, right, the I know the combine just happened, and we touched a bit, right? I know you wanted to kind of throw out a top 10 prediction, you know. So with the time that we have remaining, I kind of want to open the floor to you. What is your quote unquote top 10 prediction?
Top 10. Ooh, yeah. So I'm thinking Tennessee. I feel like they're in the QB market. They're done with the Will Levis experiment. They're going Cam Ward.
You think Cam Ward, man?
Yeah. Yeah. I
I,
just I might be a Shador hater. I'm not gonna lie.
I have Shadori
I
going
don't think
third. I have Shadori going to the Giants,
uh
sir.
I
I
do too.
agree with you, but
Yeah.
I really think, and listen to my madness, right? I really don't think. I think the best quarterback in this draft class, in my opinion, is Jackson Dart of Ole Miss.
Really?
I think he's the best all-around quarterback, in my opinion. Right? He can sling the ball. Like, he's great, right? I'm not hating on Cam Ward. I'm not hating on Shaduri Sanders. Like, I'm not hating on this. But if I'm from watching college football and the eye test, right? Like, I liked Jackson Dart over Cam Ward and Shaduri Sanders. I don't think that's going to happen, but I think the Tennessee Titans
Hmm.
skip on the quarterbacks this year and draft Abdul Carter and wait till next year when it's a better draft class for quarterbacks. Why pass
Really? Or
on?
what if
Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, I was thinking what if they trade well that would actually make sense because there's been rumors out there that they've been looking to trade that pick. So
Right, because there's no, but
I
there's no
would
CJ
not
Stroud,
be.
right? Yeah, there's not a CJ Stroud out there. There's not a Jaden Daniels. There's not a Caleb Williams. There's not these guys. So it's like, why don't they just take a dual Carter? Pretty much for sure that offense, that outside linebacker position, right? And then wait till next year,
Mm.
right? And then that means I think because the Browns do Brown shit, they take Cam Morton too,
Oh yeah, Browns are definitely taking a quarterback. Like
right?
it's either Shador or Cam Ward. Like it's
So
that
I
one.
think
I think is a lock. Yeah.
right. So I think if the Titans take Abdul Carter, I think the Browns take Cam Morton too, and then Shador goes three. That is that is just what I'm thinking. And but you might be right. I think Tennessee, the Will Levis experiment is over. Like, how many memes do we have of him just chucking the ball left and right down the field, right? And just the most random freaking positions ever. Like, what is that? So,
Oh
like,
man.
I agree with you. Like, but I think Tennessee is so far gone that if I'm looking at it as the GM, I'm just like, okay, some of these quarterbacks are going to be projects. We don't have the receivers. We don't have the offensive line for this project. So why don't we start doing it with taking this offensive line right, outside linebacker and Abdul Carter, who is proven right
Yeah.
and is fantastic. But I agree with you. Like, do you take the chance?
Yeah. No, yeah. I if I was a GM, I would start with just getting blue chippers, right? So if Abdul Carter's there, you just take him. Like don't take
Right.
a quarterback. Yeah, don't take a quarterback until you're ready and just
And
keep
that's my
chipping
thing, right? So
away.
that's why people are like, oh, quarterback Cam Morton. I'm like, I stop. Like, while he was great in Miami, like he has an adequate arm. Like he doesn't have the best arm. He has great athleticism, right? And a lot of people compare him to a poor man's Russell Wilson, but like, I mean, is that what the Browns want? Probably because it's the Browns, right? Like that,
Probably. Yeah.
right? You know what I
I just
mean?
think it's a very Titans thing to do. That's why I would
I agree
like
with
the
you.
Titans and Browns. I don't really,
So right,
I
if Cam
just think
Morton
they
goes
would both
one,
make
right,
that
then
mistake.
Shadori Sanders goes he goes second to the Browns.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
right. And then
exactly.
it's I actually like your thinking. I don't hate your thinking because I was sitting here making this list. I'm like, there's no freaking way Tennessee takes a quarterback one. I'm like, there's no good quarterback in this. There's no sorry quarterback that stands out. I shouldn't say they're not good quarterback. You're good enough to get to the league. You're good enough. You're a good quarterback, right? But I don't think there's a franchise altering quarterback. Let me rephrase what I've been saying.
Yeah.
Franchise altering, like
These
if
are these are probably all like yeah.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You're lagging a little bit again.
I am. Yeah, it's the internet connection, unfortunately. But you're right. I don't think any of this. But then if that's the case, then who does New England take at fourth? Right. I think New England takes Travis Hunter at fourth. That's what I think.
They need a receiver. Yeah.
He's a
But does
receiver.
he play corner?
I think right, and it's crazy, right?
Does he play both ways?
No, I think he plays corner. I think he plays corner, and I think when we talked about it yesterday with you, me, and Mikey, was I think you just put him in gadget plays as a receiver. Because think about this, right? He's a better corner. Travis Hunter is a better corner because everyone's like, "Oh my God!" Like he won the Heisman. He wasn't even the best wide receiver in the country. He wasn't. If we're
Hmm.
talking about, there's a lot better receivers than him out there. You know what I mean? And a lot of his touchdowns right? Came in garbage time, right? They were up 42-0 one, and they threw a touchdown to him for like 40 yards. I'm like, that to me, that doesn't count. The game's over. It's 42-0. Congratulations, you went down the field and caught it, right? Like he had 1,258 yards and 15 touchdowns. Awesome, right? Like that's great. But I really truly
Hmm.
think he is a better corner. And if you're New England, you take him in tandem with Christian Gonzalez. That's a disgusting two defensive corners you have,
Yeah, it's a nasty. Yeah,
right?
that's
So that's why I think
those are
that
two nasty corners to have. Jeez.
right. Mm,
Hmm.
mm. It's
All
interesting.
right. What about the Jags? I
And
would say
tackle,
Jags
tackle, tackle, tackle,
ta
tackle.
tackle.
You got to keep
I feel
Lawrence
like
up, man.
yeah.
Who do you think?
But
Who do you
what would be it? I think Tyler Warren, tight
think?
end.
Really, a tight end to Jacksonville?
Yeah. I don't
Who,
know. I just
who do
who
they
do
have?
they have right?
Oh,
Oh no. They have Ingram. They have Ingram.
that's why
My
I was just
bad.
like, wait a minute. I think they have
Yeah.
a tight end. They have a young tight end. So like, I think honestly, they take the guy that I wanted the Bears to originally take, the offensive tackle guard from Texas, Calvin Banks Jr. The guy that I told you about, right? Like he had a
Calvin
great
Banks, yeah.
combine too. So if we're looking at it, you got to keep Trevor upright. Granted, I'm a huge Trevor Lawrence fan, but my boy, you have same stats as Mac Jones. Prove me wrong, please, sir. Prove me wrong. you know.
It's been a bust up until
All
now.
right. So with Oakland Raiders, Oakland, Las Vegas Raiders. My apologies. I have two scenarios for these guys, and the reason why I have two scenarios. These two scenarios depends on who the Bears take.
It's gonna be Ashton Genty
Yes,
or
I believe the Raiders will take Ashton Genty, and if they take Ashton Genty, the Bears will take Will Campbell. But
yeah,
if
or
the
they
Raiders,
take Will Campbell.
the Bears will take Ashton Genty.
Yeah.
That is what I and that's what I wrote down. I'm like, I put an arrow on my flip flop. This is
Yeah.
where it's going to be a flip flop, in my opinion, right? Unless obviously, right? This is all spitballing, right? And here's my biggest thing. I know you're going to be like, "What the hell are you talking about?" I think the Jets take their wide receiver from Arizona.
What?
Yep, McMillan.
Really?
Yep, McMillan had 84 receptions, 1,319 yards, and 8 touchdowns last year for the Arizona Wildcats. He's 6'5", 210.
Dude, that's actually what was his 40?
I did not see his 40. I did not look at that. I'm not 100% sure what his 40 was, but
Okay.
right.
If it's sub 4.5, like if it's 4.5, 4.4, man, he's the I don't no way.
I'm
That's
crazy. I'm
disgusting.
saying I'm crazy because my thing is right. Like, yes, you still need a quarterback, right? In the New York Jets, right? Like, obviously, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Darnold goes there, right, on a 1 year deal as well.
Hmm.
But you need someone other than Garrett Wilson. They tried Devontae Adams, that didn't work. They tried Mike Williams, and that didn't work. So why not try in the draft? And I think this guy, 6'5", 210, huge catch radius. His sophomore year, he even did better than his last year. His sophomore year, he had 90 catches for 1,402 yards and 10 touchdowns. Right. And then as a freshman, he's caught 8 touchdowns and 702 yards. This guy has raw potential talent. So that's why I think the Jets take him at 7. But I know I'm a little bit crazy sometimes with my predictions. So I want to hear what you say. Who do the Jets take at 7 then?
Fuck, this one is tough because they're in the QB market,
Agreed.
but I don't think any of those guys are gonna drop like that.
Do they say screw it and take my boy Jackson Dart or Jalen Milrow? Or do they say screw it and do the Jets?
I think they're the ones that go Tyler Warren because they they do have a need at tight end,
Fair.
right? Because
I can see that. I can see that.
I don't, I just don't think there's anybody there at QB that they would want,
No, no.
and their offensive line is already pretty much set. Defense is solid.
That's what I'm saying. So
I
I can see your tight end. I think we both agree that they go offense. Okay.
Yeah, they go
I think
offense.
I think regardless of right whether they take the tight end or they take the wide receiver, right? I think they go offense regardless at the end of the day.
Mhm.
And then that
But a
leaves
Cam Ward going to the Jets, like,
Cam Ward falls to 7. He's not gonna fall
oh,
to 7. You think Cam Ward falls to
you
7?
never know. You never know.
I mean, because
Somebody always falls.
that's true because well, how many teams right need a quarterback, right? It's the Titans, it's the Browns, it's the Giants. The Patriots are fine. The Jags are fine, right? The Raiders, the
The
Raiders.
Raiders.
Yeah. And that's why it's why it's so interesting, right? Because I had the Raiders before taking their wide receiver McMillan at 6, but I'm like, wait a minute. Gentry's going to go at 6 if the Raiders really want something, right? Because that's a Raiders move, and I don't know. Which then leads into my 8th pick for the Panthers. I think right they need a true replacement for Brian Burns, so they take Williams, the defensive end from Georgia.
Hmm.
He had 21 tackles,
Yeah.
5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He missed the month of September, but he still totaled 16. He totaled 16 tackles, 4.5 sacks. And 2 pass batted in 2023. As a freshman backup in 2022, he still had 4.5 sacks and 28 tackles on that stacked Georgia team, right? So I think he's great, and I think right is if we're looking at Carolina, right, their offensive line's okay. Bryce Young had a nice resurgence at the end of the last season.
Mm.
Their defense got torched. Brian Burns is gone, so you need a replacement. So that's why I think Carolina might go defensive end. I wouldn't be surprised if they go, tackle guard, but I really think they need to find a replacement for Brian Burns.
They either go so they can go DN or corner. So Williams or what about Will Johnson from Michigan?
I don't hate that either. I don't hate that either. I don't hate that
Yeah.
either.
Six foot two, 202.
Yeah,
He I think he had like how many pick sixes? Like two, three,
a
something like
lot.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot, but
And the reason why I like Williams right at 8 is because this man's huge. He's 6'5",
yeah,
260
6'5".
265 pounds as a defensive end.
He's a monster, dude.
Monster, right? You need someone. What did the Eagles do to the Chiefs' best offensive line? They absolutely murdered them because they had monsters on the defensive end, right? So like,
Yeah.
if because
Mm.
let's be honest, Carolina is not a one and done season, right? It's going to take some time to put the pieces together, right? So I think they take a defensive end, which then goes into number 9, which I think the Saints are going to take that Stewart defensive end, right, from Texas A&M that I talked to you about, right? I think they
Mm.
take him, which then leaves our Bears at. If we're going with S&T going at 6, I think they take Will Campbell at 10 as the offensive tackle.
That is, man, that is a dream if he falls to us.
Yeah, because I was looking at his combine. He did so well in his combine. I was sitting there. I'm like, like he has some of these things that I'm kind of concerned about. But I watched that. He plays well with his hands. Good technique. He's strong. He had some issues, right? Staying balanced in 2024, but you can work on that, right? You can work on that. That's fine, right? Like you can work on balance. That's something you can go into the weight room and try. But I think if he's there, as much as I want Genty, because I think that's gonna fit right Ben Johnson's thing. But if they don't take Genty, I think they take a running back in the second round. 100%. 100%, right? If they don't take Genty
Yeah,
and they draft the tackle or the defensive end, in the second round, one of those two picks is gonna be a running back.
I agree. Yeah. Dude, Will Campbell's 6'6", 320.
Huge.
Jesus Christ.
He's a massive.
Yeah.
So you take him, right? And obviously, right, let's say he's not a starter this year, right?
Mm.
But if you take him right, you're right. Like you can make Braxton Jones your swing tackle, and you make Will Campbell your starting tackle, right? So you have him as your starting left tackle, right? You got Joe at your left guard. Center is still a question mark. Right guard is Jackson, and the right tackle is right. Dude, that's a solid offensive line. But what the fuck did we do with the center? Dahlman. It's my
Yeah. That's
it's my answer.
Dahlman. Dahlman.
The team.
Yeah. It's an improvement for sure. It's already an improvement. I think I would love the Will Campbell pick just because Joe Tooney's like right next to him. So
Right.
he's
He's
gonna
gonna
be
learn
learning
from
from
him.
him.
He's gonna learn
Yeah.
from him. And this guy is raw talent at
Yeah.
6'6", 325. Like, and he's played
Yeah.
3 years. Like he has the experience, right? And he started all his games as a true freshman. He earned the right as a starter in the SEC as a true freshman in 2022 and played all 13 games there as a freshman.
Mm.
Right. And don't forget, who is he protecting at LSU? Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels.
Ah, right. And
Yeah.
he didn't win the Heisman. Why? Because it was a great team. He got protected well. So as much as like I told you at the beginning of our episode, as much as I like Genty there, I think that's a Ben Johnson move. I would
Yep.
love Will Campbell as
I would, dude, I would love Will Campbell, and then if you can in the later round, and probably like second or third, Quinton Judkins
Ohio
from
State.
Ohio State. Dude,
Mhm.
he ran a 4.48. He's 220, 11-foot broad jump, 30-inch vertical. Like this dude is explosive.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Him um and Henderson, they both had really good days at the combine.
Well, and look at
So,
the thing
man,
with
it's
Henderson, right? He was the starting linebacker, and then they Johnson joined him as a what I'm looking for as a transfer portal. So they had the two best running backs. Okay,
you transferred over?
yeah, he transferred over. The year before, right at Ole Miss, because he was at Ole Miss, and he transferred to OSU.
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
when he was at Ole Miss, he was one of the best running backs in the league. So he went over there and he had a fantastic national championship game. He had a great season with them, So I think
Yeah.
I don't hate those picks in the second round. Like that would be fantastic because I think, like I said, it's deep there. So like, yes, is Genty there? Is Genty the sexy
Yeah.
hot pick at 10? Absolutely. But if we're trying to win and build, if
Mm.
Campbell's there, please by God, just take Will Campbell. Just take him. Yeah.
Okay, I would agree.
It's gonna be fun.
Just one more name. One
Go.
more name I'm gonna throw out there. Just because he didn't have a really good day, but I think he's one of those that could potentially come up in the season. Caleb Johnson from Iowa, right? He didn't have a good combine,
Is it the running
um, but I think the film, yeah, he's the running back from Iowa.
back? Okay.
Yeah, if you have time, just check out his highlights. He's a decent running back. I think he's an option for us too.
Well,
He
I heard, scrolling through X and just kind of listening to people, I've heard that, if he gets later in the second, like the third round, like he's not a horrible pick to have in the third round.
No, he's not, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, he'd be a really good pick. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah,
Well,
just throwing it out there for those fantasy guys. They
I'm
want
gonna
sleeper names.
have to look up there. Oh, it's fantasy season. I'm not even worried about that yet. We haven't hit July yet. All right. um, with that being said, right, we're gonna go into we're gonna go into the last topic. Right, is our it's a combination, right? Of our pop culture one. It's like our favorite Chicago food slash favorite Chicago restaurants and places to eat. Right. So Mondo, I'll open up the floor to you. Right. There's no need to be a top whatever, but what are some your favorite foods and some places to eat in the Chicagoland?
Okay, I'm gonna say if you want a good burger, Small Cheval. That's my top one, right?
I knew that was
Uh,
coming. I knew that was coming.
yeah. Uh, for tacos, I would say a Totonico on 18th.
That's right.
Well, well, so, well, I've always agreed. I've
Uh,
always said that that's been my favorite, but
sure, sure.
I think for tacos, it like depends where you want to go. Like what kind of I don't damn.
Well,
What kind of meats you're craving? Um, huh?
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Right. So like
It depends on the
if you
meat.
want
Mm.
yeah, yeah. So if you want like asada, I would go to La Pasadita because to me they have the best
Okay.
like asada.
Okay.
If you want al pastor, you go to Totonico. If
Mm-hmm.
you want de cabeza, there's a spot over here on 47th. It's called El Asador.
Mm-hmm.
Like just I feel like it varies for that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then oh, what else? Uh, for ramen, well, ramen is one of my favorites. I would say Strings in Chinatown. That place is really good. What else? I'll stick with those three for now, and I'll
Yeah.
let you go.
Those aren't bad.
But those are, yeah,
Those are good. Yeah, that Otto Nico ones.
yeah,
I know. Me and your Theo always argue which one is the best, and he always makes fun of me because I'm the new guy around, right? I come from the suburbs. I know crap, right? No, but my taste buds
right.
better, all right? My taste is no, and the tacos on Totonico's on 18th, much better than one on 26th Street, and it's a hill that I
They're
would
they're
die on.
good, man.
They're
Yeah.
good. What can I say, right? But if I'm looking at my favorite foods in the Chicagoland area, right, is I'm a big pizza guy, and the one thing that before I met you guys, right, like I ate the kind of standard ones, but Paisanos, that Paisanos pizza, like, I can have that for every day. Just feed it to me. Like
Hmm.
that Paisanos pizza is just so damn good. I don't know why. Um, my one favorite thing I haven't had in a very long time, and I have to go to it, which is also one of my favorite places to go because it's so nostalgic, is Maxwell's and get a Polish sausage
Oh,
with
yeah,
grilled onions and mustard and a toasted bun. That's all I can.
fire.
Yes, right. And I haven't been there in such a long, long time. I think the last time we went there, it was like 2, 3 years ago. So I'm like, I have to go back there. I was doing this list. I'm like, I haven't really hit there. You know what I mean? So Paisanos, right? I think a Polish sausage.
Was it
Go. I know you're
was
saying.
it the day that that Mikey puked in the
No,
car.
no, no, it wasn't that day. It wasn't that day.
No, it wasn't
It
that
was
thing.
not. It was another day where your cousin was actually in the car, was drunk, and I went out, and it was another drunk night. It's usually what I'm noticing. I'm going to Maxwell's when I'm usually it's a night out, but I don't. But yeah, Maxwell's. I used to work with my older brother, and we used to deliver food a lot, and around like outside of Chicago and stuff like that. And Maxwell's will always be a place we would stop, and I would always get a Polish, green, with grilled onions, all that stuff, and also right, just another sandwich. I'm a big sandwich guy, right? It's the Italian beef, and we know this.
Um,
If you're from
yep.
Chicago and you don't get your beef dipped, please leave. Like, just leave.
Hmm.
You cannot eat an Italian beef dry. I don't care what you say. Like,
Yep.
thing
You
needs to
need it
be
baptized.
long, and you
Yeah.
baptize it like you were baptized in church. Like you just baptized the
Yep.
crap out of that. Out, throw the meat on there. You put sweet and hot peppers on, and you just And my favorite place, honestly, for Italian beefs, I love Al's beef. I know it's just like
Oh,
but Portillo's is great. Like I don't care what anybody says. I know it's a chain, and I'm not big on chain restaurants, but Portillo's has great Italian beefs. I don't care what anybody says. Um,
oh
but
yeah.
that place, my favorite, other favorite place I like to go to is it's a little bit, not super pricey, but it's a little bit on the pricey side. Is I love pasta, and spending a summer. Oh, we spent 2 weeks in Italy, about us two with your family and stuff like that, right? Like is I love Italy on Ohio Street in Chicago. It's
Hmm.
awesome because all of their ingredients are imported from Italy. So everything
Yeah.
that they have, and the best thing about that is the restaurant is inside the store, so you get to buy the ingredients they cook with.
Mm.
So every time I go there, I've tried a different pasta, and it's divine, right? And if you ever have been to Italy, right, just go there for shopping. Like they also have classes. Like it's a really cool kind of store to go to on Ohio Street.
Yeah.
But yeah, those
Uh,
are those are my favorite places.
Italy's a good one. I actually knew a guy who used to work there. I
Oh,
never, yeah, I've never been able to go, and I was tempted when we were in Rome because it was right there, right off the
realistic.
terminal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you gotta go. Oh yeah, because they had it in Rome. That's right. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's really good. Like it's fresh. I never, like we talked about this. When we were in Italy, right? This last summer, we ate so much and we never were bloated. Like, it was like the greatest feeling ever. Like you ate, and yes, I was the skeptical. Can you eat pasta in 7 different ways and not get tired of it? I always thought I can get tired of it. No, I lied. I will never get tired of pasta eating different ways because that is just absolutely heaven. If you haven't been to Italy, go, please. Like it is your perception on pasta when you come back to America will be like it's not even remotely close to what it is in Italy. It really, really is not.
Yeah, your perception on the food for sure, because
Yeah.
oh my God, man. The only the only thing that sucks is like really the walking and like the traveling, but I mean,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if you like being on your feet, then like that's probably the type of trip for you, whoever's listening. So
Yeah. Yeah.
cool.
Awesome. All right, so guys, it was
Uh,
awesome me talking to you guys again, and we will see you guys next week. Have a good one. Peace.